I'm gonna wait. There we go.
Oh, I
All right.
lost you
So
guys.
I got a new sweater. It says Atlanta.
really,
Atlanta. Are you going to
I
Atlanta?
hate Atlanta. I hate
What?
it
Then why did you get an Atlanta sweatshirt?
because it was $20 and I was cold.
Oh, there you go.
You know what? That's fair because I'm freezing in my house, and
hello. Welcome to the Friends of Zeus podcast. This is episode
I have
number
no idea.
Did your homework.
two, 200 and something, a lot. Tonight we have a young lady who I met at I guess an anime con or Comic Con kind of thing. And we hit it off for a few minutes, talked, and she's been wanting to get into podcasting. So I was like, why don't you come on? You can host. We can have a invigorating conversation and see if you like it. So everybody out there, our 50 listeners, meet Alyssa,
Hello.
who
Hello.
also goes by Luna in her alter ego. So yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Where you go to school? Are you
ooh,
going to
fun.
school? Have you murdered
I
anybody?
wish I was going to school. Uh, no, I just graduated from Huntingtown High School last year, 2024. Great year. Um, I'm currently 20 years of age, so pretty new to adult life. It's been great.
It's not great.
Moved to
Go
No, it's
Me
back.
not.
too.
No, it's not. I tried surviving for 3 months in New York. Never again. First of all, I don't know why I thought New York was a good decision, but if you
Bad.
live, you learn.
Fun
But
for 2 days. That's it.
yeah, I'm good. It's too cold up there for me. But I recently started getting into politics with the whole Charlie Kirk situation. So uh I guess I want to say I'm a future for conservative Republicans, I guess. I didn't think this would ever happen in a million years. I was originally a liberal until
Mhm.
I realized how bad that is.
Welcome to
Um,
the right.
so
Well,
good
and
pleasure to be here.
you're
Yeah,
not
seriously.
you're not like an anomaly because when we started this show, I voted for Biden. And I
I
have
didn't vote for
come
him at all.
well, but you can ask these guys. I came around full circle. I voted for Trump this time around. I'm not really claiming either party, but for right now, the only one I feel comfortable voting for is the Republican Party. If
Yeah,
they had a decent, not insane Democrat in there, I might go back there. I want the best for the country.
yeah.
And right now it's definitely on the right hand side. But so you're not an anomaly, and except in that you're very young and you're catching on to this now, and I think that's kind of inspiring um, to know that there are some young people out there that are thinking more clearly, not falling into this echo chamber of
Yeah, it's
Republicans are all racist and all that
it's
stuff.
definitely heavily encouraged. You know, from when I was going to school, it was heavily encouraged to go more democratic. Even though schools are supposed to keep politics out of its teaching, they
Yeah,
did
right.
not in my school at least.
They don't.
But they heavily encourage democratic behavior. It's more so. I do agree with you. I want what's best for the country, and I think that's why I'm more so conservative. Um, not and where I'm going with that is I think liberals or people on the left have the same intentions. However, they have too much empathy, and that empathy is weaponized. Another thing
Yep.
is a
Good
lot
call.
of left side that I have spoken with, they're not all terrible. The left people are not terrible, but it's the leftists that are a problem. Um, and it's more so that they don't often do their research, and that was the biggest reason why I wanted to start up my podcast. Was essentially I do the research for them, I talk about it, and that way saves everybody time. They get their information from social media anyways, 9 times out of 10. So, with context, of course, I kind of want to start more of an educational podcast, politically based, because this country needs a lot of help getting back to making America great again, which I'm
Yeah.
sure at the end of the day, every citizen wants. I feel like, honestly, the government has a little too much power, and some of that power needs to come back to the people and their families. But I definitely think that it's been better as of lately than it has in several years. And what I mean by that is leadership wise,
Oh, yeah.
especially with Turning Point. Turning Point has inspired a lot of people, I
Yeah.
think, to more so focus on our country, our people, rather than other individuals coming in. Um, but aside from that, I really do hope that anyone, any audience that I may gain, any people that I may reach out to, I hope that this genuinely helps them.
Cool.
I told you
Okay.
guys, she's a smart girl.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've
that's
done an,
great.
an unhealthy amount of research into this topic. I have like
So,
a five pages worth.
Okay, cool.
so tell us what you want to talk about tonight. Like I said, I think it's a great
So,
idea.
my favorite topic is racism being a social construct,
Well,
and why we may race.
race
You're
being
right,
a social,
race.
yeah.
Race being a social construct, and why we still may be stuck in or struggling in this country with racism, quote unquote.
Mhm.
I know that today's day and age, you have, especially on the left side, they're heavy like, people from 400 years ago, slaves from 400 years ago, their families owe like compensation. These are legitimate conversations I've had with leftists. I'm like, kind of like, what is it you guys are hoping to gain out of this? And they're like, we believe that the families who had ancestors who were slaves deserve compensation, that, they deserve more rights, more protection. Um, the way I see it is they're kind of picking and choosing, or even kind of setting it up in a way where they make a certain group look vulnerable and then kind of give more privilege to that group than another group.
Are you
And
talking
the reason
about
I say that,
like the leftist mentality is that they? Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, and that kind of goes along with the victim mentality, that a lot of people have in this day and age, which it's irritating, because I've had that mentality, and it you kind of keep yourself stuck in a position when you could literally do anything to get out of it and improve it, but instead you choose to remain that way. Um, and it's partially because a lot of people will come to your aid if because again, a lot of people have empathy for the little guy, the underdog. So a lot of
It's a
people,
narcissistic place to come from. Like, look at
yes,
me. I'm damaged. I'm hurt. I deserve better. I get where you're going with that.
yeah. Yeah, and I think a big part that feeds into that is this therapy culture. Don't get me wrong, therapy is great and all, but now it's like everything links to narcissism. If you're nice to a person, you're a narcissist. If you offer to do things, if you behave a certain way, you're a narcissist. That's not always the case. Not everything is narcissistic, which I wish people would be able to better see that rather
Mhm.
than assume automatically you're a bad person. And that is commonly seen with white people, straight white cis males as they call them. I don't know why they have to add the cis in there. That just sounds mean. But it's like, let me find an example, because there was a recent example where I was on TikTok debating with a feminist, and she was disrespecting a guy, like she was talking to him in kind of a degrading manner, and I was like, "Girl, he's talking to you respectfully. Calm down." And she immediately got defensive. Was like, "We all know you're a pick me. Stay in the back. Mind your own business." And I'm like, I don't have to defend men and be a pick me, to call you out and say that you're being disrespectful.
What is
What's
a,
the term
They're
you're using?
Pick me.
Pick me?
I
a
don't know what
pick
that
me.
is.
I've
That
not heard that.
It's
well,
makes me physically cringe, but essentially
it's
it's like,
it's
I'll
a
let you explain.
it's a girl usually
Yeah.
that does things to basically say, look at me, like they are trying to be better than other
Gotcha.
women.
Okay.
They want to be the
Hmm.
chosen one. So
Oh,
they do
that
things.
kind of.
There's a
Okay.
lot of different ways you can do it.
It's kind of like when you would stand out in recess and you wanted to be on the one team. It's kind of that vibe. Pick me. I want to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's just a dismissive labeling of someone to shut them down. In other
Yeah.
words, this woman probably saw that you were making a good point. Like, hey, this guy's being okay with you. Like, why do you have to get personal and whatever? And so then she just says, "Oh, you're a pick me," and that means the whole group should not listen to you. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's a
I
nullifier.
get this commonly, especially when I enter debates, because I actually do my research for most of these debates, like abortion or pro-life, pro-choice, racism, all this stuff. I will do research into this and I'll go into debates with it. And oftentimes I'll come across a feminist who will immediately be against it and, do that whole claim of it's just a clump of cells when I bring up the claim and evidence that, life starts at conception. I've done an extensive amount of research into this, and I kind of think I'm autistic, and I think I need to get tested for autism because of this hyperfixation of mine. But nonetheless, it's been very fun. Um, Definitely, I didn't think that I'd be this into research and education, but it definitely is very fun, very fun to do.
I mean, like you said, if your aspiration for at least, is to get into the podcasting world, that's a good beginning point because it means that
Mhm.
you're diligent and you do your homework. That's not a bad thing. So keep that up. But I got to ask you, you talk about these debates that you're having with like a leftist or a feminist. Where are these debates taking place? Is this an online forum or is it like at,
Mostly TikTok.
Hmm.
okay.
but still, that's out there
There'll
forever
be some
now.
really interesting questions on TikTok that people want to debate about. It's really fun to debate though, and I even like enjoy just popping in just to learn some things and fact check some people. And I'm like, this is kind of interesting. I learned something new today. So
So wait, so on to all right now. I'm I'm not down with all the tech and all the apps, but my understanding is like TikTok is like the reels, the videos that people put out. So how does one engage in a debate on TikTok? Is it just the
Comment
comments
section.
section?
So people can go live, and TikTok has kind of relaxed a bit on their regulations as to where the age of which you can go live. I believe it's 18, but I've seen kids that are obviously under that age live,
Sure.
which they shouldn't be. I don't know where their parents are, but essentially people will have these lives very much like a Zoom call. They'll have it set up. They'll have the debate questions or topics posted on their profile, and then
Hmm.
people will join in and discuss their opinions and inputs on it, or facts or whatever. Normally it's opinionated, but people will come in and discuss very similarly to what you guys are doing here.
Okay,
But you
okay.
get
So like the public has a venue, like they can. It's kind of like the host takes calls. Like in other words, someone makes a comment and they'll say, "Oh, so and so says that blank." You know what I mean? Like, is that how it works, or do people actually put their faces on there with the host?
people can. I prefer to, but again, I get called to pick me when I turn my camera on, so I
Oh
don't
wow.
often. But you can
Such a
join very much like an online call.
okay.
Which is not the correct usage of the term pick me, by
It's
the way.
not. It's really not. I'm like, I just want my camera on.
I can tell you this, in the 3 or 4 minutes that we've been talking, I have a new term that I absolutely hate, which is
Wh-
that, the
Pick
pick me.
me.
That's
The pick
just
It
me.
makes me physically cringe when people walk in and say I hate the term.
Well, that's one of those terms that gets used out. So, like, for example, gaslighting. That term has been, Jesus
That's been overly used
fucking
for
Christ. People
so
don't even know what
long.
the term gaslighting even means when they use it. But that's one of those terms that kind of gets overused, just like
Mhm.
narcissism, just like trauma, just like
ugh,
all
trauma.
trauma.
Ugh, that one traumatizes me.
Just because you stubbed your toe on the corner of a coffee table once doesn't mean you're traumatized.
Right,
But
Someone
you know,
else read.
the
but
You
best
the
want
the
to
best
get
thing.
into
said
a
that.
real one?
the best
PTSD used to just be about soldiers coming back from war. Now it's
Right.
or like
like
horrific
I bought
accidents
grapes at
or
the
Yeah.
things like
supermarket.
that.
PTSD
Now
is
everyone
so
has
abused,
PTSD. It's
From the
frustrating because for the
macaroni
people who
overboiling and I
actually
bought
have
burnt.
it,
Oh my gosh.
right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
Noodles
it's
too hot.
literally like for the
PTSD.
people who actually have it. Now it's like, are you just being extra dramatic, or do you actually have it?
Everybody has
It's even
ADHD.
like
Everybody has Everyone has
I
a
have
little bit of
ADHD, but I don't want it.
schizophrenia.
I'm
Like
like, it
like
just happens, bro.
Yeah,
It's
but
such a
I
common thing.
yeah, but the gaslighting term being thrown out, just like the pick me term, just like calling you a racist, all of this stuff is meant to just silence you
Hmm.
when you're
Mhm.
winning the argument. That's
Right.
all
Yep.
it is. And so when someone doesn't have a point to come back to what you're saying, they can be like, oh, you're just gaslighting me. Oh, you're just a pick me. Oh, you're a racist. That's why you're saying that.
Mhm.
And then you're supposed to cower like a wilting flower. And I don't think people are cowering anymore. Like I really don't. I think people have a little more, balls now than maybe
Hmm.
they did
So
4 years ago.
yeah, that was the thing with cancel culture, and I believe that's why so many people are like so scared of being canceled because especially again, seen on the left, um, a lot of people, if it's just one of them, there's no power. You just laugh at them. But they gang up on you like a pack of
Sure.
wolves and then
Yeah.
take you out. I've seen this
Yeah.
time and time again. Even in school, it happens. Like,
And and
I'll
most
get,
aren't brave enough to say anything themselves. They kind of like wait till they're in a pack. But yeah, like Jack
yeah.
said, or Huck Pearl, I'm sorry. It's a way of
why do we even do
it's a way of
we should
shutting
call him we should
it's
call
a
him
it's just a way of
James
shutting
Jackson or something like that.
people
I don't know.
down and like not addressing their points.
it?
I mean, it's a, yeah,
So
it's just a way of shutting down conversation.
I'm gonna give you guys a little story that happened at work this week,
Here we
and
go.
it kind of
Oh,
applies. No,
Zeus
this
work
is
stories.
Wait,
yeah,
I
wait,
yeah.
love them.
let me
I
put
love
on my
them.
Well, no,
seatbelt. I'm just putting on my
here's the
seatbelt.
thing.
Okay.
Here's the thing. It could have gone bad. So we had this patient, and she was pretty gangster, like probably came from jail. And we have this thing in the morning that's called report, and you kind of go over the patients. And I was like, yeah, she's a little hood, right? And I was saying this to one of the black girls I work with, and the next day I come in and she's like, I need to talk. Can I talk to you for a second? I'm like, did I do
Oh.
anything wrong? Which is what I
Yeah, you
always say
said
now.
hood.
Right, but no, but here's the beautiful thing of it. I was like, first of all, you've worked with me for a couple years now. Is that a vibe that you've ever gotten from me? And she was like, I don't really know you that well, but you get a vibe of people. You don't have to know them well to get a vibe. And and I was like, look, when I say hood, it's not about color, it's about attitude. It's about a behavior.
Mm.
Like Eminem is hood. You know, Machine Gun Kelly wants to be hood, but my point, and I made this point, and she was like, no, I get it. I needed to make sure, and I told her, I said, I really appreciate that instead of taking offense, you came and talked to me about it, and we were like hugging by the end of it because I don't come up from a racist place.
And then
No, but you know what I
and
mean?
then
It
you
was
got
it was
reported for hugging your coworker.
No, I actually said you didn't go to the boss, and she's like, no, I wouldn't do that. If I
Oh,
thought you were being racist, then maybe I would have. But she was satisfied, and I truly am not racist. When I say hood, I mean a behavioral pattern, not the color of somebody's skin. And she totally appreciated that I didn't mean it in that connotation. But that was a good feeling. I'm liking, maybe this is part of this paradigm shift that we're going through where people are going back to asking questions rather
Mm.
than just making assumptions. I'd like to think that that's what this was an example of. And she's real young. I mean, she could have gone a million different ways. She could have caused me much strife. She could have been like, "You're racist." Instead, she said, "What did you mean by that?" And I explained. I meant like Eminem is hood. It's an attitude. It's not a, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but let me ask you this, pray tell, was this patient black?
Yes, and that's
Okay,
why
had
that's
had
why
the
she was.
had the patient been white, would you have referred to him as maybe a little hood?
Yeah, because it really is for me. It really is. It's a way you bring yourself about. You acting like gangster, like you're tougher than the room, like
Okay, I
you're
got
better
you.
than.
Right.
And that's really. I mean, I've never thought of it. I've never thought of that term from a racial standpoint, much like gangster. I call people gangster all the time. White, black, you're gangster. You did something that's tough and maybe aggressive. It's they're terms that are part of the common linguistics in the world anymore. You
Right.
can't really apply race to those
Right.
terms.
It becomes sort of pop culture. It becomes part of the
If-
zeitgeist or whatever you call it.
yeah, exactly. I feel like those words are, like I said, if you called somebody a cracker, what do I think of? I think of a down south, you know, good old
White
boy.
person.
White, maybe, but I've seen
Yes,
people that
definitely.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's definitely
that one,
It's a
you
white
know what,
person.
yeah,
definitely a
you know
white
what?
person.
Yeah.
Okay, you win this
So
one.
what's the
Yeah,
difference between a
white guys are
cracker?
crackers.
What's the difference
Plain
between a
and simple.
cracker and a wasp?
Uh,
Oh,
where they
Wealth,
live,
yeah.
wealth,
what the
wealth.
trailer
Yeah, zip
versus
code.
house.
Wasp?
Zip code.
Are
White
all
Is that an actual
Anglo,
could
term?
white
are all
white
yeah, it is an
Anglo-Saxon
actual term.
Protestant.
White Anglo-Saxon
No one
person.
uses
It's
it anymore, but
No,
Oh,
it's
I
white.
do.
It's white
I-
I've never
Anglo-Saxon
heard that.
Protestant.
Protestant. Oh, I thought it was
Protestant.
Yeah.
and nowadays, when you use wasp, it's definitely used with intent to be offensive to white Anglo-Saxon Protestants.
Oh,
Like
I don't
it's
think
to
so.
say,
I don't think so.
I
No.
call my husband a wasp all the time.
oh,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, it was
going down a dark
You
path here.
waspy ass.
it excludes like Catholics who a lot of times were Irish or other nationalities. It
Yeah,
excludes
Italians.
excludes
What a
Jews.
what a
Yeah,
wasp person, a waspy person is, Alyssa. Think about a person that is on the golf course at a country club
Or like a Karen.
Sounds like my dad.
wearing
I've been on
shorts and a polo.
Right. Well, if you
You
just
Screaming
think
all the
about
time.
you described my father exactly just
I
now.
feel like Karens.
Waspy.
I feel like
Waspy.
Karens are waspy.
well,
No,
doesn't
not all
it
Karens.
doesn't it sort of specifically when you think about like the founding fathers and the original
yes,
colonists, right? So
yes.
it's that white blood that goes all the way back to like England and like the Western world, as
Like
opposed
old
to
money.
like the Irish and the Italians, like Mike said, the Catholics who came over many years later and were mistreated, by the way, like very not treated very well at all, and actually did build the country like physically, like actually like put
Here,
buildings up and churches, etc.
I'm
So
gonna.
but now we're lumped in
Anyway,
with the wasps now. You know what I mean? Just as white cis people. Like if you're Italian, you're basically as white as an Englishman whose roots go back 400 years. I mean, like as far as the world's concerned, which I think is bullshit because I'm Italian Irish. So if
Yeah,
we're not the same.
Fucking
I do have
immigrant.
a definition, just real quick
for wasp,
for WASP. Yeah. As a slang acronym, WASP stands for White Anglo-Saxon Protestant, referring to a member of a historically dominant and privileged upper middle class in the United States, often of British descent. The
Wow.
term was popularized in the 60s to describe individuals from this group, which is typically associated with being wealthy, powerful, and having a social life centered around country clubs and certain universities.
Hey,
So
we all
old
got it
money,
right.
Yeah.
politicians.
I mean, just
Yeah.
you
since
had it.
we're to be clear,
Yeah,
yeah.
you guys nailed it. Whoever gave their, thumbnail of what it meant was dead on.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
didn't
we
I
got
didn't
it.
even dig that deep.
Where I was going with that is not all. Hold on. Wait a second. All wasps are crackers, but not all crackers can be wasps.
Right. Yes, that makes sense.
All right.
Logic.
Regular.
Anyway,
Thank you.
let's get
Uh-oh.
back to the race.
So
Yeah, sorry.
we kind of sidetracked. We do that.
It's
We
called
do
a
that.
tangent on our
Yeah, we get on
podcast.
tangents.
I
It's
do it all
okay.
the time. I'll have
Side
like these main
quest.
conversations, and these main conversations will go off into little side quests.
And you're
So
talking about
Yes.
Pokemon cards.
Yes. Side quest.
And what race
I have
is
3 of my
Pikachu?
favorite in my
I don't
wallet.
know.
Well, just one
Okay,
quick.
so I understand the TikTok debates now, so I appreciate that. I was a little confused about that. So
And
you're getting in debates with people on platforms like TikTok, and that's where these things happen. Like you're called a pick me, or like what else happens to you when you're doing these debates on there?
So the most common thing that happens to me, because again, I love coming back to race being a social construct, and when I go and dive deep into the like hours of research that I've made and where it originated from, a lot of people immediately go into, well, you wouldn't understand because you're white, you're straight, you're Christian, like, all these things, or, even for being Christian, especially when they find out that fact, which I'm not very open about it as much as
Right.
maybe I should be. But a lot of people will be like, you're Christian, you're in a cult, you automatically hate everyone, you're racist, automatically assuming just based on, my looks, my religious beliefs, automatically going into, well, you're automatically racist because you're white, and anything you say that has anything to do with any other ethnic group, you're racist for, because again, you're white. Like
Yeah.
I had a conversation with a black friend of mine about black culture, and he immediately went into, him being black, he immediately went into saying, oh yeah, black culture is toxic, I don't associate it with it
Ooh.
at all, this and this. And I'm like, whoa, this is coming from you. But if this came from me, which I agree with him completely, from again research that I've done, it would immediately, I'd be labeled as a racist or anti-black because I'm a white person saying it.
Hmm.
So it's the same concept, and you see this especially with the LGBT community. A lot of people call them out, but it takes a person from within the community for people to actually listen. Otherwise,
Right.
you're homophobic, you're transphobic, you're all these things. Automatically people resort to you being phobic in some way,
Hmm.
shape, or form, which doesn't make sense because I'm not afraid of trans or you know homo. Heck, I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. My brain is having a brain fart, but you get the idea. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
I'm
not
not
No one's
phobic.
you're not
afraid
afraid,
of,
but
yeah.
they'll call you
Exactly. I have
phobic.
no issue with them either. I have no issue. I'm not afraid of them. I'm completely fine with them as long as they don't force their beliefs onto me, because that commonly is why they get angry or hateful. Is because you don't agree or subscribe to their ideology. So immediately you're against them simply for
Hmm.
not agreeing with them.
Yeah. They have a
Right.
And
different opinion.
You don't know who
yeah,
Jehovah's
it's
Witnesses?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
I used to live
I don't
next to
like
a couple
Jehovah's
of them.
Witnesses as a Christian, but
They're the people that knock on your door with the suits on. They ride bicycles. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
awesome.
They're in the Tour
They're,
de France. Yeah, they have a
yeah.
great team in the
Suits and bikes and always a
suits and
helmet.
bikes.
Very safe.
mm,
Um, those people, what was I going with that?
Weird.
Oh, nobody likes when they come to your door.
Mm-mm.
No, nobody likes it.
No one's like,
Unless you're
oh,
also Jehovah's.
hey.
No
Yeah.
one's like, come in for coffee. Most everyone, doesn't matter what religion you are, unless you're Jehovah's Witness as well, or race or religion. It doesn't matter. Woman, man, whatever you want to call yourself. You don't want that Jehovah's Witness coming to your door. So it's the same thing. Don't anything that's a different ideology, please do not come on my doorstep with it because I don't really
and
care.
it's funny because this is coming from the very same group that is always encouraging like individuality, different opinions,
Mm-hmm.
all this love and
It's
acceptance,
a
but they're
lie.
also the first group that immediately turns and points the finger saying, you're a Nazi, you're this, you're that, because you don't agree with us.
It's
It's
a
kind of, it's,
it's a power play. I mean, years
yes.
ago, I mean, this whole thing, at least from my perspective, like, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, started with people being offended, right? So it's
Mhm.
like, oh, that offends me. And somehow it was a way to shut other people up, shut other people down. And then it kind
Mhm.
of turned into this ism and phobe and all this stuff, the othering of people, where this
Mhm.
is the group I'm in, or the community, which is a whole other term I think is a little crazy. I mean, my community is where I live and my neighbors and
Yeah,
people
yeah.
I work with. Like, I'm not part of the straight white male community. Like, we don't have a club, we don't like have meetings and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
immediately, like that's the issue
And
with
if you
today's day and
did,
age. You
they'd be
have to group
undesirable
everyone.
meetings.
yeah, they have to group
Everyone has to
everybody.
be in a group.
Right. Except
Yep.
we can't.
Ugh.
Except our group can't have meetings though, Mike.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that they used to, and then that
we
didn't
can't
end
have.
well. That
We can't
that
really
ended
be a.
poorly. Yeah.
Yeah, we can't be a
But it's
functioning group.
what it is, and Alyssa, I mean, from my perspective, it is the beauty of this country is that we are individuals, and everyone's created
The
equal,
diversity. Yeah.
by our creator, and we're all individual people. And what this leftist mentality, this belief system strives to do is eliminate that and put people into little categories because it makes it much easier to control them and propagandize them. If
Yeah,
you're trying to
absolutely.
get some sort of message out and you have to deal with 1,000 different people, that's difficult. But if you can put them into two groups, or one group, or three groups, it becomes rhetorically much easier
To divide.
to divide
Yeah.
them against people that don't happen to be in the room at the moment, which is why you get videos online of two people that literally just met and within 10 seconds they're like screaming at each other, which on its face is completely irrational. Like it's just
It is.
irrational behavior to be immediately coming to loggerheads with someone you just met 10 seconds
Yeah.
ago. But it happens all the time now.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
that's
but
kind of
go
let's
ahead.
get back to
sorry.
the genders, or not the genders, the race.
Yes, sorry. Yep. All right,
Yes,
we're
back
steering it back
back.
on. Okay.
Let's rewind back
Whoa.
or circle
Okay.
back, whatever
Okay.
that is.
Circle back.
Circle back to
Okay.
the
Yeah. So I did, again, way too much research into this, probably more than what we're going to cover in this conversation. But essentially, I have done this research on this man named Johann, what was it? Johann Blumenbach, I believe his name was. Yes.
Hmm.
Yes,
Johan.
Johann Blumenbach. And he believed in monogenism, which is, the belief that we all essentially originated from one being. Um, so his
Crazy
his
talk.
theory was developed in the late 18th century, right? Um, he essentially proposed that all humans belong to the same species, which we do.
Hmm.
And essentially what he did was he made categories of these people, where his hypothesis, it was a degeneration hypothesis. He thought that we all originated from Asia, that the Caucasian race was the original race because it was most developed and most beautiful, according to him. um, and everybody else degenerated, and what
Wow.
his belief was by that was people essentially adapted to their environment. That was essentially what his belief was. Their differences in skin color or race in general was based on their environment and essentially location, right? So
Yeah.
people who are more exposed to the sun are going to have a naturally darker complexion, or terrain, if it's a rougher terrain, if it's a colder terrain, you know, all these things.
Shorter, more stout, probably.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
higher you are, all this stuff. So the thing about this study, though, was he rejected the inferiority idea, where despite the hmm, that's a hard
Hierarchical.
word.
Hierarchy.
Yes, thank you. Hierarchical nature of his classification. He strongly opposed the idea that certain races were inferior to others. His belief, and he argued this constantly, was all humans had equal intellectual and mental capabilities.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Uh,
the
I,
original reasoning as to why this whole race classification came on was he was essentially trying to establish differences, physical differences in appearance, from other races, kind of like how you classify different flowers, right?
but not
Or plants.
superiority or inferiority. It was
Exactly. The superiority
different but good
inferiority
in
complex.
something else.
Yeah. And that complex was adapted by the English. And I'm not saying the English are the only race that's ever been racist, of course. Irish people were enslaved, Jewish people were enslaved in the Middle East. Slavery happened everywhere. But
Still
essentially, the
does.
English used this to justify slavery, his categorization. So they took his ideal for Caucasians being the superior race, and that's what they labeled it as, and Black people being at the bottom. Actually, Native Americans were at the bottom, but I digress. Um, they essentially took it and ran with it so they could, in a way, well, what's the word? Defend their reasoning for why slavery should be allowed
Hmm.
at
So
this
he wasn't saying that one was superior to the other. He was saying that each has different qualities that make them
Yeah,
better at these things. And these people
The
ran with it
Brits.
and said, well, clearly these white people are superior for whatever
hmm
reason, and
they
these
took it
Native
and ran
Americans.
with it, and
Right.
and twisted what it was
This is
supposed to
interesting.
Yeah.
represent. Yeah. So this German doctor did all this stuff. He was very much against, hierarchical. Uh, I cannot speak for the
Say it
I'm
life of
five
me.
times
sorry.
real
Good
fast.
Lord. Oh
Hierarchical.
gosh.
Yeah, it's a tough
I need to
one.
get
It
back
is.
on ADHD medication. Good heavens. Anyways,
Don't
man.
get
Uh,
PTSD.
Yeah.
yeah, I got that too. Stubbed my toe once on a coffee table. Never been the same since.
But yeah, but isn't there a parallel though with now? I mean, when people are called, isn't that like almost akin to name calling? I mean, in other words, during the 1800s, the British Empire was still very much, running things. And
Yeah.
if they were subjugating other cultures, right? Some people call it colonialism or whatever. And if you have this this uh this guy that did all this research that buttresses your point somehow, you're gonna take that and be like, yeah,
You're gonna cherry pick it.
I'm not a bad person.
That's
I'm
exactly what
taking
they
advantage of
did.
these people because they don't know any better. Like if it wasn't for me, they would starve, even though they've been surviving on this continent for, millennia. If it wasn't for us, and so, but I'm saying that's what we're still seeing. We're still seeing people
Yeah.
that try to pigeonhole other people in order to dismiss them and push their
Well,
own
like,
personal
Well,
agendas.
I
so like,
feel like that's. I'm sorry.
go ahead. Go
Yeah.
ahead, dear.
I kind of feel like that it's the tables have in a sense turned in modern day and age situations like that. And again, I'm going to bring up Christians or white straight males. I feel like this is like this whole racism thing where people are automatically accusing you of being
I'll be right back,
racist
guys.
because of a certain way you look, because of a
Hmm.
certain belief, you
Hmm.
know, automatically they're putting a label over you. And I feel like this is something that happened, way back when, 400 years ago, when slavery was still around, or even after that, when Black people were still getting rights and fighting for rights and everything. Then you had white privilege, right? White privilege doesn't exist anymore. I don't care what anybody says. It doesn't exist. Anybody of any color or gender can do anything same as I can as a white woman, same as a white man can.
Hmm.
We all have the same opportunity. So there is no white privilege anymore. What there is, and I feel like, and this could be purely opinion based, but from what I've seen, people who choose to be oppressed, people who choose to be victims of all this racism and stuff, which we're trying to get out of that. So I don't understand why we're still even having an issue with that. I kind of feel like they're the ones picking on white people now, right? That white people have become the oppressed race, quote unquote. Nobody's oppressed in reality.
Hmm.
Oppression isn't a thing that you see in America, at least. Other countries, maybe. I can't say the same for them. But being an American, oppression is not something that you'll see in today's day and age. It
Yeah.
shouldn't be. It's
And
2025,
and there's a
right?
big difference. There's a big difference between discrimination, which is, I mean, that's part of the human condition, and it can be wise, it can be ignorant, it can be a lot of things. I mean, if I'm, walking around and I'm walking down the street in a neighborhood that I'm not familiar with, no matter where it is, and a group of people are coming the other direction on the sidewalk, whoever they are, you're going to be a little bit on guard versus if you're in
Yep.
Yeah.
like your own community and you see a friend coming towards you. um that's just human nature. I mean, the
Yeah.
the thing with racism, and this may be generational, I don't know, but ever since, I mean, I remember being a kid at 10, 11 years old, and being like, man, I would hear these stories. I'm like, I'm so glad that's not the way things are now in our future. You know what I mean? Like, there's people of a certain age, and I'm one of them. Like, I know that what is going on these days is not racism, and that people aren't
Mm.
racist because I've known actual racists, like people that were older people in my family, people that I knew when I was younger, again, mostly older people. Um, I've read about other people who were actually racist, and it's a very ugly way to be, and it's horrible. I never ever run into anyone like that anymore, and haven't for decades. And
Mhm.
saying something like Zeus said at work, or some other comment that gets misinterpreted, that's not racism. That is the other person being overly fragile, in my opinion,
Yeah,
because
but wait a second, Mike. I agree with you, but what do you do? What do you do with the Alyssa was saying, it's 2025, right?
Mhm.
Um, Now you have everything that we've been talking about so far, this groupism and this division, and these sort of judgments that go against, say, white people, or well, I mean, we're the main sort of villain in this leftist play that they're writing. The problem is, it's like a lot of the outspoken leaders of the leftist movement that proclaims to be representing, let's say, Black America, right?
Mhm.
They don't want a seat at the table anymore. They want to turn the
The
tables.
table. Yeah.
That's why reparations is such a big clamoring point, because it's not just about, I want the same opportunities as you, which, by the way, like Alyssa said, you have.
You have. Yeah.
It's not about that. It's about sort of getting theirs from you.
Yeah.
In other
And
way, in other
yeah.
words, like, you're to blame for anything going on in somebody's life by virtue of your skin color. Like, that's the white privilege. Like, you have it so easy compared to me
I had no
because
privilege.
of that.
Yeah.
And
Or
and meanwhile, and this could be coming from like a young Black person who's attending Harvard on a
right.
scholarship.
Right. Right.
Okay, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, hardly oppressed,
Yeah. It's
hardly
to
oppressed.
me.
That is a
It's
bothersome thing about it. It's like if they were to create, and I want to word this the right way. If there was to be a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant college fund, oh boy, would shit get real. It would be offensive and
Well,
Yeah, what there
maybe,
is, it's called a golf scholarship.
yeah,
yeah.
right.
but my point is I paid for my school, and I realize maybe I'm an anomaly. I paid for my school as I went through it. I worked full-time job while I did it. I got no breaks. Everything I did, the one thing I can say is everything that I have achieved has been on my dime and on this off the sweat on my brow. And that's
Mm.
not to say that people that get these benefits don't deserve them. I'm sure there's a vetting process, but that one bothers me a little because I've had no real things handed to me in life. And so
Yeah, because
because of that,
you're an individual with your own story. You shouldn't be lumped in a
and because of
box.
that, maybe I don't understand that that concept of these things because I did everything on my own. My feeling is everybody should do everything on their own. And you can ask for help, and if you get it, great. If not, them's the
Just
breaks.
right, do it.
Yeah. So yeah, that bothers me a little. It doesn't bother me enough that I'm up in arms about certain groups having college funds or housing stuff. We need these things to keep a society developing.
Well,
Yeah,
And
but I
so
think
we
I
need.
think everybody should have to do as well on the same test.
Mhm.
Hmm.
yeah.
You know what I
I feel
mean?
like I feel like people of color, it's easier for them to get benefits or tips because they are of color than say me, a white person. And I even have an example of this. Like my girlfriend and I, she's Hispanic. Her and I were applying for a college loan. We filled out the exact same answers. The only thing that was different was our race, and she got a loan, I or loan grant. There we go. She got a grant. I did not.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
Um, so I mean,
But were
it
you
could have
bitter?
nothing to do with race, but at the same time, it was the fact that we both filled the exact same paper out. We didn't change any of our answers. The only thing that was different, literally the only thing that was different was our race. So it
Well,
could
it's
purely just be by chance. I mean, I would love
Hmm.
to continue testing that, but I've heard a lot of stories of
It's not by
people,
chance.
But
well,
here's
it's
the
like
thing. I'm not bitter if somebody else gets breaks. I'm kind of like, good for you. You got an upper hand. Great.
yeah.
I'm not like mad because I
Oh yeah,
didn't
no,
get
by
that.
no means was I mad. It was more so just kind of surprising than, I'm not mad at it, of course. I didn't plan on going to school. It was just kind of more like, what if? But it was still out of curiosity, right?
Well, it's like, what's the
It just kind
reasoning
of,
for it? That's where it gets. In other words, like if
yeah.
you pursue the question, obviously you're not going to be mad at your friend. It's nothing about your friend, but it's like, okay, so what's the why for that? And no
Yeah,
one ever
it's
wants to
yeah,
talk about
exactly.
the
It's
why.
why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
here's
and
the
like
My
that's
most the most
um,
recent example I have of this is so I am also a nurse, but I work in a different type of field. So one thing that a lot of the nurses where I work go on to is something called CRNA, certified nurse anesthetist.
or
So they're
NPs. Yeah.
no, it's a nurse anesthetist.
Okay. No, I
It's a
know. But I'm
master's or
saying,
doctorate level, but you
yeah,
could do that or you could go to NP school or whatever. But
yeah.
this is like you're basically administering anesthesia.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a huge process. There's grades, there's extracurriculars, if you will. There's experience and type of unit, and then there's um recommendation letters. Basically, are the main things that in certifications a
Don't
lot
they
of
have
places.
really high insurance in anesthetists?
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
but the doctor carries that, not necessarily the nurse. Kind of like
Right.
I don't
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
anyway. So we had 4 or 5 nurses apply this semester. So the CRNA school locally is a private Catholic school. So the people that applied were a very waspy white girl, we'll just say. A Hispanic guy that was in the military, a girl, a white girl essentially, but she is from K Kyrgyzstan. I'm gonna mess this up.
oh that
One of them
Tajikistan?
stands. One
A
of them
stand.
stands starts with a
Yeah.
that's a
K.
mouthful.
Russian,
Yeah.
something like that. And the other person that applied she is a lesbian with a lot of tattoos, a little bit not the picture of somebody that you would want to see at a Catholic school,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
if you will. But she happened to be the one that was actually more qualified, got 2 letters of recommendation from very high up physicians in our city, should have gotten in with no question. She was the only one that didn't get in
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
because of
That's a great example.
she didn't have any of that. She's just a white girl
Mm-hmm.
from the hood. I
A
mean,
little hood. Yeah.
kind of hood.
Hey, watch,
Kind of
watch
hood.
what you're saying
Yeah.
there.
Hey, out of all those 4 people, she's my favorite one of them. So,
Well, this is the thing that, if you're familiar with Thomas Sowell, that he pointed out, a long time ago, is the double-edged sword of this identity culture is you end up having people that feel resentment because they feel that they were passed over because they didn't fit into a certain box. And then you have the people that do get accepted or the people that do get the position, even if they earned it, even if there was merit to it, they have this patina of oh, you didn't earn that. So everyone, they people kind of look at them a little sideways, like, oh, I know why she got into school, or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's destructive for everybody, I mean, that's why like meritocracy is
Yeah.
it's really the only rational way to deal with this kind of stuff
Hmm.
because it's measurable,
Earn your way.
Well,
earn your
that's
way.
that's yeah. Well, that sort of side eye glance you would make. That's what Charlie Kirk was talking about with the pilots. Remember? I mean, the whole
Yes.
idea.
mhm.
The whole idea is if you have diversity, equity, inclusion standards and quotas, and you're lowering standards to find more of XYZ group, then everybody knows, okay, you lowered standards so that certain people could get the job.
So
So
does this
now I
And
have to
I'm
person,
not
look
saying, and I'm not
so
yeah,
now I
saying,
have to look at this person and wonder,
did they make it on merit or were they,
yeah,
yeah,
gee, I wonder
exactly.
about that.
And it's destructive to them. Like it's not
It
fair to
totally
that
is because they
person.
could have rocked the test and been the best pilot,
Right.
let's say, in the whole school. Absolutely.
Exactly.
yeah, and I'm not saying these other 3 people shouldn't have deserved to get in. One of them, the Danish to Russian girl, I don't know. She should not have gotten in, honestly, based on her merit, should not have gotten in.
Was
But
she from Stanistan?
Cannistan, kind of guy. My wife,
Eminemistan.
my wife. That's all that was. Anyway, um, but all I'm saying is, if I'm gonna have somebody perform anesthesia on me, I would probably want the person that got a letter of recommendation from the the most popular cardiothoracic surgeon and a world-renowned structural cardiology
Yeah.
doctor,
Oh yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
she
anyone, I
didn't.
mean, if you've been under anesthesia, I mean, it's like it's the art of almost killing somebody. That's what it
Yeah,
is, you know? And
exactly.
it's like,
I
and
want
then
the
bringing
person
them back.
that will almost kill me the best.
Yeah. And so, like, I don't care. I mean, all I want to know is if I see a doctor in a hospital, I mean, I pretty much assume that they're a brilliant person, you know, and I don't want to have anything get in the way of that feeling, you know, because you have to trust whoever, you know, it is that you're dealing with. And that's the way it should be, you know, and it could be no one cares. I mean, that's the other thing too. It's like that what Denzel Washington said years ago about like if you want to stop, you know, racism, then stop talking about it
Yeah.
because it's almost
Hmm.
like that's
That's
why it
exactly
still
the issue.
exists. Yeah.
Morgan Freeman
It,
too.
it, it
Morgan
is.
Freeman's a big like fuck the racism
Maybe it
thing
was Morgan
altogether.
Freeman. I
What's
think it
that?
was Den
Didn't Morgan Freeman also say that?
it
I
may have been
remember
Morgan Freeman
watching.
and not Denzel. Yeah, it may have been
I think
Morgan.
Denzel's in that same camp though,
I
if I'm not
remember
mistaken.
watching an interview with Morgan Freeman, and essentially they were asking him about Black History Month, and he was like, "I think it shouldn't really be a thing. Like, we shouldn't pay attention to all that stuff, really."
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah, that was Morgan Freeman, definitely.
yeah, and
There's a
and
reason
and
he
yeah,
played God.
it's
Yeah.
that was another thing though, when leading into, people of certain ethnic groups getting more attention than others is often something that is talked about is gun violence, right? You'll hear something on the news where another Black person was shot and killed by a police officer, right? You never hear that about white people. And in 2024, and I have this pulled up on statistica.com, words, where white
Words.
people, 445 white people were shot and killed by police officers in the year 2024 in the US.
Unarmed. Yeah.
There was 277 Black people shot and killed in the US. Yet, when all these white people are being killed, that's so much more, bro. When all these
Well,
white people are being
Well,
killed,
that's
you're
the
not
media
seeing
machine.
people.
yeah.
You're
That's
not seeing people going off and raiding buildings or setting cities on fire. You're not seeing violence. But even a perfect example is George Floyd. That
mhm.
was ridiculous. An autopsy, even, and maybe I have to double fact check this by any means, or by all means, anybody fact check me on this. But the autopsy, from what I had found, was he actually died from an overdose.
Mhm. Fentanyl
Well,
and
yeah,
Yeah,
and
something else.
fentanyl.
Yeah.
he had like three times lethal levels of fentanyl
Complications
in his system.
from drugs. I don't know if it's technically classified as, they may have said that for purposes of people
I
better
mean,
understanding, but I think that it was more because
in,
his heart basically,
Well,
and
if
in
you
not
Yeah.
that
necessarily
case,
overdose.
it could have been a little column A, a little column B, because fentanyl is definitely going to depress your respiration.
Hmm.
So maybe the knee on the chest
Yeah,
did
he said he
have.
couldn't breathe before they even put him on the ground. He was complaining about
That's
not
true.
being able to breathe. He couldn't sit in the car.
but if you look at the media and how the media influences, if you look at George Floyd versus the Kyle Rittenhouse situation,
How they put
and
it was the cop killed him. There was
yeah,
nothing else
and
other than the
They
cop
said
murdered
well,
on
him.
he
one
also
That's
got
how they
hand,
put it.
convicted of murder.
and he also got stabbed like 20 sometimes in jail a
Yeah,
couple
he
of years
did.
ago. But
Yeah.
if you look, the thing about the George Floyd thing, if you look at it, if it wasn't for that video, which is a difficult, if you just look at it out of context or even in
It's
It is a
context,
hard
it's a
video.
it's hard to
difficult,
watch.
it's hard to watch. And so
Yeah.
it had this video and that's what really breathed life into it. If there wasn't a video, you would have never had all the other
You
stuff
know,
that came
it's
later. And then on Rittenhouse's side, there was video of these people coming after him when he
Mm.
fired on them. And if you didn't have that video, he would have been prosecuted and probably sitting in jail right now. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
it's and
all
so
right.
it's
So
you. Yeah, sorry.
I have a question. I saw a video recently that was, and see, this is the thing. We've talked about the AI thing. And now I'm like questioning things a lot more because I've with it on our commercial lever, how much crazy shit you can make happen on a video. But I saw this video and it appeared that it was George Floyd in the back of the truck and he was raising a stink, like putting up a fight. And have you guys seen this? Was that real or am I just
I don't
seeing?
know what you're talking
No,
about.
I haven't seen this.
there was real video floating around back then of another officer's body cam, which showed his antics in the car, how he wanted to
Okay.
be out of the car. Yeah, that was real video.
Okay. It's hard to tell anymore.
I saw a
It is
video.
hard to tell. AI is
Yeah.
going to cause so many problems. I can imagine people artificially making videos
Oh, they
and
will.
using that in court to prove, allies or to incriminate people. I can automatically see this
Absolutely.
happening.
I saw a
We got to
video
get off the
today.
AI because I could talk about that for days.
Well, I'm just saying, I saw a video today of it was Mr. Rogers, and as his guest, he had Pinhead from Hellraiser on, and I was like, I don't think this is real. I don't think this actually happened, but it was a funny video.
I saw one
Yeah.
today of Tom, one of the other hosts of our show, screaming out his exclamations about his personal life. I found it really
Yeah, you keep sending
bizarre.
these things, man. Anyway, so real quick, Alyssa, so did Johann did he live long enough to see his research and his writings
The
kind of
shenanigans he
bastardized and stuff?
caused.
Where was he
I'm
already
not sure. I
gone?
have it written down in somewhere in this mess of notes.
I wonder when he lived, like how long he
I
lived.
I'm not too sure. I'm trying to
That's cool. I just
see
didn't
how
know if
long
he
he
was able to
lived.
ever rebut anything or speak for him,
Yeah,
speak for himself.
I know that he did. It did say he did argue oftentimes when it came to
Oh,
the inferiority complex
he died in
with hierarchy.
1840. Yeah,
Yeah, so I do know I
he
am
was
aware
gone.
that I would hate to think this, but I fear that he may have seen some of his work used to justify slavery.
Hmm.
But um I know he definitely he what his goal was expressing and showing that unity in all human races. It doesn't matter what color you are. We all started or originated from one spot, so therefore we are all same.
Hmm.
And that's so
And
like
it really
common
sucks.
sense.
It
It's so
really
common
is. You
sense.
would think, but common sense ain't that common nowadays.
I
No.
don't I don't know about his belief that it started in China. I still think that the cradle of life was probably in Africa, which
Mesopotamia.
actually
I have a theory of that as well. I do agree, and even in the Bible, and I know you're not really supposed to biblically reference stuff with religion, but I
Yeah.
know that it mentions that when God was making Adam, the clay, I believe it had mentioned that it was red. So, um,
Oklahoma.
Hmm.
Oklahoma is the cradle of civilization. But the thing is, the
but
thing that
no.
belies, if you ever think about like, if people from another planet came here with hostile intent or whatever, they would be like, "Oh man, humans all look the same to me. I can't even tell these people apart." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These beings apart. I mean, it's anytime that you have a group, if you have four friends and you're in a car driving across the country, there's going to be some delineations. It's like, oh, you went to a public, state college, like I did, but Joey and Frida, they didn't go to college. They did something else. Oh, you like the Green Bay Packers. I like the Green Bay Packers, but Jimmy likes the Cowboys. I mean, people will always find ways to kind of subdivide themselves in from any size group. It's human nature. It's just human nature.
But it also shouldn't lead to what it leads to today and its immediate response with violence,
Right.
combat, hatred.
Absolutely.
It shouldn't be that way. Like why can't we get back to a time where we can simply coexist and have disagreements on things?
Because it's incentivized now. It's incentivized to the individual thinks they're getting something out of it when they're not. But the powers that be and the people that are in control of media and other institutions, they are benefiting from it. Because if you can keep
Yeah.
everyone arguing about stuff like race, they're not going to be arguing about stuff like, why are we still driving cars that only get 20 miles per gallon? You know what I mean? It's like there's
13.
13. It's because it's like anything else. It's incentivized.
Good for you.
Someone is winning.
It's a hassle.
Yeah.
But
Well,
Yeah,
but
I th
I think that people have to be, I mean, you should be able to group people because
Yeah.
people are from different places.
People do it
People
naturally.
believe different things. Some people in God, some people don't. Okay. So there's the Christians and the not, or whatever, you know, but not necessarily everything that you group people by has a negative connotation.
right.
yeah, we shouldn't hate that group simply for
Right.
Right.
disagreeing.
No, Des,
Exactly.
you're totally right, Desiree, but that's the problem. And we talk about, socialism and communism and anti-Americanism all the time. And those are the people behind this. So what you have to do is you have to present to, let's say, minorities, whether it's blacks, whether it's gays, whether it's whoever the group is, right? What you say is you say, hey, look at those people over there. And basically you ask you what you want is people to pay for the sins of their fathers. That's all this is. So
Hmm.
when you talked about like with the English, how they looked upon the Africans as lesser than, right? So they instituted slavery. They justified slavery. Now they were the same people that globally ended slavery for everybody. The same English speaking white dudes basically decided this is wrong. We're going to end this practice everywhere we can, even forcing the end of it on other people. Because you had the Barbary Pirates, you had the Marine Corps, like this went on for a while. But the bottom line is if you can point to, let's say, white America, white straight Christian America, point to them and say those bastards are responsible for all the ills of the world throughout the history of mankind. And then you can rile up all those other groups and say, okay, we need to take from that group. So now it's like that's why there's reparations. That's why there's universal basic. Like everything that they fight for is let's say, anti-Christian or anti-white male, straight Christian. Like we're like the bottom of the vile cesspool of people. Like if you're a straight white Christian guy, you're persona non grata with the left. You just
Yeah.
are. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
the reason is because they can point to you and say, "Oh, those people have everything. You have nothing. Therefore, they're the enemy." And that's really all this is about. It's about taking over the entire system. You know what I mean? So if they say that white straight Christian men are the patriarchy or the hierarchy of power in this country, well then how do you end the country? You take those guys out.
And
I mean
there's
that's
also,
it.
yeah. I mean, and there's also you can't talk about this without also talking about that there is a serious hatred, dislike of culture of the American culture
Right. And
of
that's and
Western
that's
civilization.
and that's what we represent. That's what I'm
Correct.
saying.
Correct. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
biggest issue, and this is such a crazy thing too, is that I think about this often. The Republican Party was the party that ended slavery.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
So why is the Democratic Party still trying to talk about it, right?
Yeah.
The reason we can't move on from this is the Democratic Party, and much like you said, it's people hating people for what our ancestors did 400 years ago. We may not agree with that today, but for some reason it's still our fault, still our problem because our ancestors did it, right?
Right.
So it's like
But
you're
like you
holding.
But Alyssa, like you said, they don't even have the history right because the Republican Party was the ones that ended slavery, and the
And the
Republican
white
Party,
man.
and
And
they're
the,
also and they're also the ones that fought for civil rights. It was the Democrats that were the last holdouts. They were the ones who sided with the Klan.
Exactly.
And then also what people forget is the Democrats. When this basically started with LBJ.
Hmm.
This started with LBJ when he basically incentivized, no offense, bad behavior with cash. That was the end of everything for Black America. I mean, honestly, in my opinion, the Great Society was the beginning of the end. It instituted a welfare state, and it basically locked Black America in bed with the Democratic Party. Because once you make people rely on free shit, like completely generationally rely on it,
It's
you're
over.
in bed with that party. Because
Yeah.
then the Democrats can point to the Republicans and say they want to take away your benefits.
We're seeing it now with this
We're
whole
seeing
thing
it now.
with the
Wasn't
ACA.
wasn't Lincoln a
Well, yeah,
Republican?
that's yeah.
Yes.
It's frustrating because it's like, and maybe I feel this as a young American, maybe this isn't the case, but I genuinely feel like both parties genuinely what's best for America. However, one is failing to see that they are damaging it even more, and the other one is trying to point that out, and they're being labeled the villain. The issue is the country doesn't take care of its own people anymore. It
Right.
doesn't prioritize its people, right? So we have all these other people who are claiming benefits, and I'll be working my ass off, and my taxes go into these benefits, and they'll just be taking full advantage of it. They'll have the capabilities, they'll have the ability to provide for themselves, but essentially they get free money, right? So the problem is the system is flawed. This is not new information. It's always been this way. The system is flawed, especially when it comes to benefits. What people should be doing is checking in and making sure that these people who are receiving benefits are actually trying to get back on their feet, trying to be productive members of society. And
Yep.
so therefore these benefits are not just being wasted and can actually go around evenly and benefit people who are trying to get back on their feet.
Yeah, that's what it was supposed to
It's
be for, right?
Yeah,
That
but
was
what's the incentive to end your benefits if the benefits are better than
working.
working?
Right.
That's how they catch
I mean,
these people.
logically.
No, you're
Yeah.
Desiree. That's the problem.
Nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work. Nobody knows the true value of hard work. Like I
Well,
grew up
no.
and I want to say
If your benefits are more than what you would even earn working, I mean, what's the point?
Right. If you're
Really?
you make a
if
fair
you're
argument
getting
there. That
if
that
you're
is
getting
fair.
free shit, you don't have pride in just work being in
If I
and of
could go work at
itself.
McDonald's and make half the amount of money I could make sitting at home, getting benefits, getting childcare, getting food stamps, getting Section
Right.
8.
Right. And
Why would anyone like why would you do that?
well, and then also
I don't know.
the more babies you have, the more money you get.
Yeah.
Well, also you're kind of like it's
Which I'm not saying
psychological.
again, the system is flawed.
It's like psychological warfare. You're playing to the worst instincts of people
Yeah.
instead of pressing or catering to the best that people have to offer. You're not
Yes.
challenging them to do. I mean, people are. We say this all the time on the show, but or I say it all the time. Human beings are amazing. I mean, we can adapt to any environment on this whole planet and in space. I'm just saying, as a species, we have people that can run a 4 minute mile. We have people that can climb the highest peak on the planet, go to the biggest depth of the ocean. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, we are an amazing animal. Human beings are. And yet, you have a movement in this world, this leftism that squashes that and puts a basket over that light, in order to control people. It's disgusting. It's
Yeah, like
horrible.
look at Elon Musk. Elon Musk sent one of his spaceships up to save people of multicultural backgrounds
Hmm.
from dying in space on his dime. Do you hear anything about that?
He caught shit for it.
Yeah.
No, he
In
Well,
caught a
fact, he
Nazi
tried to
nowadays
do it.
by
He tried
everyone.
to do it
Yeah,
during the
yeah, yeah.
he tried to do it during the Biden administration, and they were like, no. And as
yeah,
soon
they
as
were
they
like, "No, you bought Twitter, and conservatives get to talk on Twitter now. We don't like
Yeah.
that.
The
So,
optics. The
yeah,
optics
we don't
aren't
want
good.
your help."
So essentially, Democrats throw a hissy fit, and then everything stops because they don't want to continue partaking in the activities anymore.
they really are like petulant children.
Yes.
That
So
just they just know how to say no. No. And
no,
then
Okay,
but I don't want to do that.
fine,
I don't agree with it.
fine,
Me.
fine,
Yeah, we
No,
have a
no,
fine,
conversation. Yeah.
I go
fine.
back to at this point. I see. I think that Mike, you pointed this out a bunch of times. It isn't just both parties want to help America be great. No, one party doesn't at all.
Yeah, one party hates America.
One party
From
hates America.
That's not me. I mean, I'm just looking at their
That's
behavior.
well,
I'm just looking at the
yeah,
behavior
and it's
of,
not
and
and
not
everybody.
look, not. I'm talking about the party. I'm not talking about every
No, I
single
know, I know.
person. I'm talking about the leaders of that party and the leaders of that movement have contempt for the way this country's constitution and the way it's designed to be governed. They have contempt for it. They show it all the time.
Right. And
I
they
mean,
actually
again,
and they lump the founding fathers again were these Christian white straight guys, and they're responsible for the America that formed. And since they hate us, they also hate the country. I mean, like it's
Yeah,
connected, like it's
right.
all the same.
I've seen so many videos of people burning the American flag, saying all these hateful things, and how, our rights are being taken away. We're not allowed to be here. Trans rights, this and this. It's not always the case. And I don't even think anyone's rights have ever been taken away. Some things that should be more controlled maybe have more restraints on them now, but that's reasonable. Especially, for example, the gun policy. I heard that there was talk that they're just going to keep guns out of a specific group of people's hands, especially after the Charlie Kirk incident. It's the same people saying they want to get rid of guns anyway, so now they're complaining
So,
that their
so
gun rights are being taken away.
I have this neighbor.
Yep.
Mike, you've met Charlie, right?
Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah, but you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He is a vehement
Okay.
Democrat, but we have real conversations. Like he knows where my heart's at, that I don't have racism and all that. And we have these like deep, deep conversation. And he's another guy that's uplifting to me because we'll finish these conversations. We'll disagree horribly, yelling at each other, and then we walk away and give bro hugs. Like we need more of what we started this show on: polite discourse. You can disagree. You can even, like I said, vehemently disagree with somebody's standpoint, but you don't have to lump them into a group of hateful people, especially when they're like the guys that go and get the milk for you because you injured your knee, you can't go to the store. You know what I mean? It's like it's upsetting to me that we're at this point where we will do things that are not, I think, in our nature as human beings to do. You're supposed to, in my belief, you do far better for the world to lift people up. Maybe grabbing those groceries for that neighbor that's injured. You guys know about my neighbor that just
yeah.
died, that I spent the last 3 years helping take care of him. I got nothing from that. That's what we're supposed to be doing. That's how you improve society, by random acts of kindness.
And I think
Um,
most people are like that. In my
I
day-to-day
think
life,
so too.
most people I deal with are awesome people. Like the vast majority, or I don't know about awesome people, but the vast majority of people I deal
But at
with every day
least
are good
civil.
people and civil and kind and funny and want to chat and all that stuff. I mean, that's why sometimes you look at social media, whether it be TikTok or YouTube or X or whatever, Blue Sky, and it's this concentrated, venomous stuff. And if you watch enough of it, you start thinking that's what the world is. And it's
Mhm.
not. It does represent, there are people out there, but in my experience, it's not a lot of people. It's not many people that are that over the moon with this stuff. I
Yeah,
don't know.
but
That's just an opinion. I mean, I don't have
Except for
any
where Zeus works,
empirical
because
evidence.
apparently everyone there's fucking weird.
oh my God, they all think I'm racist, and I'm like the least racist guy there. Like if I say an urban term, it's not coming from a dark place. It's coming from, I grew up in trailer parks. I lived in the black
It's just a
neighborhood.
generational difference.
I had
Yeah, I
all
think
these.
she's right. I
What's
think
Yeah.
that?
Alyssa's on the money here. It's generational. Like the people that you guys are interacting with, like Mike, you talked about good-natured, civil,
Mhm.
whatever. If you're talking about Gen Xers or people around our age group, that's different than
Yeah,
the kids.
we're
It just
old,
is.
Yeah,
angry
Gen
white
Z
guys.
people are not like that at all. I don't like a lot of people I interact with are just straight up mean.
Yep.
Wow.
Like I have no problem with doing anything for people. I love doing things for people all the time. Anytime I can try to help or assist someone, I will be on top of them. But that's not always the case. And I've noticed if it doesn't benefit them, oftentimes they will not move an inch.
That's horrible.
Hmm.
And
Well,
this
and
sucks.
Yeah.
that's what we were. I don't know if you guys covered this when I stepped away, but one of the things about
We
like
just
the,
talk about you. When you go away, we
Hmm.
of
that's when we
course you
talk about
do.
you.
Yeah.
He's so handsome. He's so smart.
Kind of.
Hmm.
Um, but one of the things that bothers me about these funds that go to people is we're not teaching them to earn their way. We're teaching them that if you sit on your ass long enough, and this is maybe that's too harsh of a term, but that things will be given to
You're not
you,
wrong though.
and you don't have to work harder to get those things. And in a perfect world, none of us would have to work. We'd all have. Elon was talking about it, like I think
Universal
he calls it
high
like
income.
no, no, yeah, universal high income,
Or
where like
guaranteed income. Yeah.
no, he's saying
High income.
universal
Oh,
high
high income.
income. So like nobody has to work. Everybody can do what they want. That does sound like a perfect world. I don't see it happening in our lifetimes,
Well,
but
Yeah, like
he,
wasn't that what socialism was supposed to be, and it eventually that failed and turned into communism?
well,
yeah,
I don't think he's
pretty
intending it
much.
that way. I think he's
Hmm.
saying you get $15,000 a year
But
extra.
look,
So
here,
And
everyone has like a set kind of
yeah,
allowance.
have
but
Yeah, but it's so
universal,
much that it
everybody
doesn't
gets the
matter.
same.
There's no like oppression, speaking of oppression,
Hmm.
because everyone can afford to eat and everyone can afford to
Honestly,
do
it
vacations and
it
stuff.
very much reminds me of like Star Trek: The Next Generation. Like they would
We
loosely
don't know
talk
what that is.
in the past that
Yeah, I know what Star Trek
there
is.
was no like starvation. Everybody had what they needed,
Well,
so their jobs were more of an interest rather than an obligation that you got to do this to feed the family. And there is something to that. I've been a hard worker all my life, so there's part of me that's like, nah, never gonna work. You gotta work. You gotta, yeah, ear to the ground, nose to the grindstone, all that stuff. But the appeal of it, and that's where I think the devil's in the details. The appeal of the universal high income is interesting, but I don't know if it would be better for us. I think
I
that
mean,
you have to have that grit. You have to have that inspiration to do things, to achieve.
I know some
And
hmm.
people who are on that are out of, not working because of the government shutdown.
yeah.
And I was talking to one of them over the weekend, and he was like, I'm going crazy. Like he is not allowed to log onto his computer, right?
Yeah.
His work computer. He can't do anything, even though he could be doing something, and he'd get in trouble if he did because they're shut down. And we were joking because it's only been like 3 or 4 weeks, and I was just like, so much for being like, take this job and shove it. Like you've been out of this job for like 3 weeks, and you're going stir crazy, at home. But I think the big bill of goods that people have been sold over the years, the big lie is that life is fair. And I think
Yeah, it
there's
ain't
this
fair.
perception among
Fuck no,
especially
it ain't.
younger people that when they bump up against reality that life is not fair and life is very hard and life will kick you in the ass like
And
all
keep
the
kicking
time,
you.
that you take that pain and then you look at like someone says, you know what? Michael, it's that guy over there that's causing it. And you're like, oh man. And because you never learned that like that's just part of the human condition. I mean, you look at
You know,
people, I always laugh at myself when I'm like, oh man, what job do I want to get? Like I want to do something meaningful, write the great American novel. I want to like, do this great thing or whatever. There's like generations of people that worked in coal mines. They got
yeah.
up, they went down into a hole in the ground and breathed like coal dust and pickaxe the wall for their entire life. And then their kids did it. I'm just saying that's hard, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what we're dealing with now, it's
We got
not
it
it's
So
easy.
much
not like that,
easier
man.
compared to that.
Des,
Yeah.
I gotta ask you, so you work 3 days a week, or do you do three straight like I do?
Yeah, I try to. I hate the island shift.
Is it just me, or by that fourth day off, you're kind of like itching to get back? Like,
Yeah,
yeah, right? I think that might be a generational thing. And Des, we've always kind of included
I'm
in
not
our
in your
generation,
generation.
Yeah,
even though
that's
she's
all.
like 20 years younger than us.
I think it's a
But
human thing. I think
But
it's a
I
human
think,
thing.
like, man, by the fourth day, but I don't want to go to work. I just don't want to be at home anymore.
Mm.
I think it's FOMO. I don't think it's wanting
Yeah,
to work.
that's true.
Shit's
Yeah,
been
that's
Well,
true.
the
happening and I've
problem
been there
is
for.
with my day and age, and I've noticed this because I came from my parents are divorced, so one side of the family had a lot more wealth and
how did you
stability,
cause the
and
divorce?
I I don't know. I asked that for 20 years, but my mom's side of the family was always on the lesser wealthier side, so to speak.
Mhm.
And this could just because they were in Maryland.
Because they had to
My
feed you.
father's side, yeah, my father's side, he's the one that had main custody of me. He had a lot. I mean, they have like a Brady Bunch sized house right now in California with 7 kids living in it. A whole nother family is living in it. All these things. So
Yeah.
I've seen both sides of the coin where things can just pretty much. I'm a trust fund. It's handed to me, right? I don't have to work hard for it.
Mhm.
But when I come back and I choose to live with my mom, or my
Mhm.
mom's side of the family, my grandmother, whoever, where I actually have to bust my ass just to survive and I'm barely making it, right?
Mhm.
I've seen both ends of the coin. The issue is everything is so expensive and I don't get paid enough to survive on like say a 32 to 40-hour job that I could get without having a degree, right?
Mhm.
Unless I have a degree, I'm not going to get a good paying job. And that's not always the case, of course, but it's harder to get good paying jobs that don't require you to have a degree. So the problem is my generation either doesn't know how to work hard because everything is handed to them due to this victim mentality BS, or it's just not values that are taught, or it's everything's too expensive, so they give up altogether, and
Right.
like it was said earlier, they choose to rely on benefits that could pay them more than actually working.
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, this is a generation that's not used to having to work hard to earn
Oh, not
things.
at
Right?
all. Not at all.
Everything is handed to us. And I hate it with a passion. I truly hate it with a passion because I feel like, I had to learn how to work hard for everything that I have now. I have animals to provide for, I have all these things. I have to bust my ass.
Mhm.
Yeah, a
And
little bit of that I think is parenting. You have millennial parents?
my mom
Probably,
was
yeah.
19. My mom was 19 when she was pregnant with me.
How
So
old is she now?
I'm 40, 40, 40.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah,
I could be
millennial.
her parent.
Millennial.
You know,
Um, I
something I just found
What?
interesting that
well, hold on, Zeus,
Hold
hang
on. Hold
on.
on. Hold
go
on.
ahead, sweetheart.
Because if you think about your guys' parents, y'all were the generation that go outside, don't come in this house till them street lights come on. He
Yeah.
wants
Right.
cycles for dinner.
Yeah,
That
Let's
we
was
walk
had
to
how
the
my
boomers.
mom's
beach.
side of the family is. This is how my
Um,
mom's side of the family is. Don't get me wrong. I still got the belt and the spoon,
Mhm.
but I grew up drinking hose water out of the backyard during the summer. So,
right,
All
but the
right.
diff
All
but
but when
the
I
right.
was with my father, that was a different scenario. When I was with my father, I was much more. I mean, I would be allowed to go and get my nails done in like 80, 70, 70, $80 nails and get a
Wow.
$100 hairstyle. I have
Mhm.
a $200 dress in my closet for a homecoming event.
Wow.
You,
Yeah.
you know what adds
It's
so much legitimacy to what she said is how many times did we drink lead water from hoses as
Oh, I'm
kids?
sure I ate paint chips. I because they were tasty.
Like
My
that
younger
that was
siblings
so
have
much
never drank
realism.
hose water in
Yeah.
their life. I said, you
I
make
still
That
drink
people
hose water.
taste lead.
Yeah.
that
I
was
don't think it's lead. I think
so
it's probably just whatever metal, hard metal.
that was so low key real from you, Alyssa. The fact that you said drink hose water, like instantly memories came back.
Well,
I drank.
I was the kid that dressed up in like a princess dress you would buy off of Amazon nowadays. But I was the kid that dressed up in like a spirit Halloween dress, went outside while it was pouring rain, and made mud pies when I was like
Mhm.
6 or
Yeah, we
7.
You
Like
dragging
were
our
born in
my
the
siblings.
wrong
younger
era.
siblings would never go
They
outside. They're
wouldn't do
like
that.
addicted to the iPad, all this technology and stuff. I was born in '05, so technology was still being
Jesus
developed, fairly new.
Christ.
I'd like to think.
Right.
Oh,
But
five.
like flip phones, like we didn't even have like a touch screen yet. No, touch screens
Yeah.
weren't a thing,
Yeah.
right?
We didn't have
So
the
my
internet when
younger
I was
So
siblings,
I
oldest
was
youngest sibling
35 in
from '08.
'05.
where I was going with that was the parenting style is y'all's parents didn't really care about you.
No, they didn't.
I
Technology raised us.
I mean, that's mean,
You're
but
not wrong. You
boomer
make a valid
parents
point. Yeah.
versus millennial parents, I think that we
25 in '05.
overgive. We try to we try to buy our kids love or something. I don't know. Um,
You were
and
so
I
scared to become
think
your
that makes
parents.
I think that makes a different,
Yeah.
generationally, it
Well, I think
raises
that's the
children up
biggest
differently.
problem with the generation today is a lot of people that I talk to didn't get their ass beat as a kid like I did. Like I got fear beaten into me.
Right.
Big difference. Big difference. And I've observed it in school too. People are straight out disrespectful. I went from a charter school to a public school. Vast difference in how the children behave and interact with the adults who are teaching them. Like
Yeah.
the disrespect. I watched in public school. I watched a student straight up get up, cuss a teacher out, and then tried fighting the teacher. In charter school, that shit would never take place. I maybe only heard of one fight ever breaking out in the 5 years that I was with this charter school.
Yeah.
Like it was
Mhm.
drastically different compared to the public school I was going into. They were smoking weed in the bathrooms. They were passing drugs around like it was candy. All these things, and it just astonishes me that they even have it. And the problem is especially when fights break out, the public school will take the side if this child benefits the school or the child's family benefits the school financially or through sports or extracurricular stuff. They will take that student's side even if they instigated it, or they'll altogether sweep the situation under the rug.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was insane. I mean, I got jumped by 6 girls, and because I was 18 at the time, there's no self-defense stuff in Maryland really. You can still defend yourself, but all of them were
Listen,
mine.
was it in the bathroom?
Oh, they were all minors.
No, I was walking home. I was walking home from school. They knew where I lived because they're on the same bus as me. But
Even better,
essentially, this
even
girl,
better.
I was like, if I get caught fighting out of school, like I already have a bad reputation because of my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And you're
My
clearly
mom
so
batshit
aggressive.
crazy. My mom would fight anyone, doesn't matter age or race. She would fight anyone. But
She coulda got you.
it's insane. The generational difference is insane. But
Yeah, it's a lot. It's generational, it's parenting, it's so many different facts. Like public school, charter schools, parents have to pony up hard cash for that, and the teachers know that, and the kids don't want to get in trouble and they don't want to flunk out. And these private school teachers, like they almost have an agreement with the parent that's paying for the school, like, hey, keep my kid in line, make
Yeah.
sure my kid learns. I'm paying for it. Public school, it's just like a lot of parents consider it like babysitting. Okay, I'm dropping off Junior at school. I don't care if he learns or
these
not.
teachers don't get paid
I
enough.
was a public school
No, they
kid,
don't.
and it was great for me.
Yeah, but I don't remember anyone. I mean, we had some bad kids at my school, but I don't remember
Me
anyone
too.
blatantly disrespecting a teacher
I've heard.
like they've seen. I mean, I've
There's
seen.
some bad
Yeah.
public schools in the cities. I tell you that.
Yeah, and it didn't used to be. I mean, it didn't used to be like that. I mean, like yeah, people be fighting each other all the time. Whatever. That is what it is. But not
But
the
that's kind of
teachers.
like that's kind of like part of life. Like that's the
You're gonna
battlefield
get into
for
brawls.
kids.
You're gonna get into fights. If you fight, you fight. That's just how it is. That's how people have settled
Honestly,
agreements for years.
and I will say this: you guys all have met my oldest, except for you, Alyssa, have met my oldest son. I really want him to get his ass beat in school once.
That's
Because
terrible.
he is no, but I don't want him to be hurt. I want him to learn that you behave a certain way. Because he's
You
not
behave
learning.
a certain way, you're gonna get treated a certain.
But you don't learn that in
Fuck
one
around and
day.
find out. Play
Talk
stupid
shit,
games,
get
win
hit.
stupid prizes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He has not, and I'm always, I'm such a sucker. I always give him what he wants, and
Well,
I
there
need
you go.
somebody else.
It's all your fault, Zeus. So there you go.
Clearly,
You
it's
just
my
figured it
fault
out.
because I'm a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant male.
Right.
No, I mean,
Hey guys, I hate to do it, but it's like 11:15. I don't know.
wow.
Yeah,
Zeus.
we got to do a part 2.
Yeah,
Check
we'll do
you
a
out,
part.
I feel
We'll
like-
do a part 2, but we've been on for a little long here, Zeus. What do you
Yeah, I didn't
think?
even realize how
Yeah.
late it got. That's
Yeah, I
No,
feel
no,
like
Luna, this
Alyssa
is a
barely
testament to
got started.
your your leadership. We don't normally run this long. We usually talk for 15 minutes afterwards, but this was a long episode. It
I
was
think
really
Yeah.
good.
I think on part 2 we'll let Alyssa talk. I think that'll be the thing we do
Yay!
next
I've
time.
achieved
Yeah.
great.
Yes.
No, you did great. You did great.
You did
And
Yeah, that
great.
was
love
awesome, Alyssa. Thanks for joining us.
I think I
Oh,
speak
it's
for
an
everybody
honor,
else.
thank you.
I'd be fine with her coming on again. Definitely.
That's
Okay,
fine.
cool. Well, we'll
Yeah,
figure it
younger
out.
voice. All right.
Take care,
All right,
guys.
cool, guys.
Awesome.
Alyssa, thank you again. Bye, guys. We'll see you next week.
See you next
It's been a
week.
pleasure. Thank you.
Bye.